Hey babe, should I get a 5-speed or a 6-speed?
You think I should look for a limited slip diff car or a open diff car?
So I was thinking like blue, silver, maybe green.
Babe, should I get a soft top or a hard top?
Hey babe, come here.
What?
Alright, so I got these 3 options to show you. We have a 06 Touring, not super bad price, pretty close, not crazy high miles. This one though, limited edition, it's a 06 special color. Wait, are you leaving?
No, you are. I don't care where you go. Please, for the love of God, just buy a Miata.
Just fired it up for the first time. Dude. He's got no words.
I'm like actually speechless. Like,
This is clean.
like, it's
He's got no words. I guess welcome to the club.
it's a touring, but thank you.
Finally, this guy has a Miata. We've done videos on him shopping for Miatas, figuring out which Miata to buy, and we haven't even covered all the content of how that was, how you actually found this one. So that's why we're doing this. You finally have a fun car in the stable.
Okay, I had fun cars before, but they're just fun in different ways. But yeah, this is like an objectively very fun car.
So this is your new to you Winning Blue
Winning Blue
2006 Touring, right?
Touring.
So I don't know, where do we start? This
I mean, I do want to
months in
preface.
the making.
Yeah, I want to preface this video with saying I'll be making a whole nother video on why I chose this car in specific. And then I'm going to do another video on top of that on the build plans I have for this car. So this video is just going to be like what it is and what's done to it.
Yeah,
And the process to get it.
Yeah.
So
this is a beautiful blank canvas on which you can do. It's not quite fully blank.
not fully blank.
And we'll get into that in a
mostly
second.
blank. But yeah, this was not the first car I looked at, not the first car Jordan looked at.
Right.
It was I don't want to say painful process because I love car shopping.
It's painful for your wife.
Yeah, painful for Addie. And I mean, Jordan, you looked at as many cars as I did.
I did in person too, and we've been catfished a bit and misled, and you've had cars slip out from under you that were frustrating, and owners that were selling cars and then not being responsive or useful
Yeah.
to work with. It's been a long, frustrating process, but thanks to Frank,
Frank is the guy.
we found this incredible specimen, and it's really convenient because Colorado, right over there is my house. Now, we didn't buy it right here, but we bought this in Colorado Springs earlier today.
Yeah.
As some of the footage you saw.
Yeah, we should flash back, I guess, or if we haven't flashed back, you already saw it. But yeah, the process itself of getting this was super easy. Frank was willing to hold it for me for a whole week. I gave him a deposit up front. He could tell I was very serious. And it finally happened. So yeah, It's tough buying a car when you don't have a huge budget. And even when you do buy new, even that can be difficult. I feel like the car buying process is just more painful than it needs to be.
Right. So fortunately, we had our friend Luke and Nicole. They drove us down to get it. We were crammed in the back of his new 2 Series, which is awesome. I'm hoping to film a video with that soon.
Yeah, very
Luke's
fun.
very familiar with buying mini cars. He just goes through them like crazy. So the current car he had was able to fit us, which was nice. And yeah,
Kind of made a day out of it. It's
that
really
was
fun.
a fun experience getting down there. And then we pulled up, and this thing was just like gorgeous.
I had high expectations because Frank was actually incredibly nice, and he FaceTimed me because before I gave him money, I said, "Hey, I want to like make sure the car is in the condition you say it is. So send me a video." He said, "Hey, let's FaceTime." So he FaceTimed me, and I saw it, and I had high hopes because it looks pristine. It's got great maintenance records, and then we pulled up, and like the color is phenomenal.
Yo, that blue is very close to the Porsche Sapphire blue. Is that my boxer?
Sapphire blue, Lamborghini.
That's really pretty.
Wow.
We picked up some bugs. Frank had it cleaner than this. And
Yeah, Frank had it clean. He had it full of gas, and he was like, and yeah, the fact that he FaceTimed you and was very, very forward about everything on it, that's really what you need when you're car shopping. I mean, I think that's some of the things to look into when car shopping. And what's funny is I made a video previously on how to buy a car sight unseen.
yeah.
And so we've kind of used some of those practices on this even better than I did. I didn't really know what I was doing when I bought my car.
Because I have Jordan to kind of help guide me through it, because he's bought a Miata in a different state before, and he was local. He didn't actually look at it for me beforehand, but Jordan actually did look at 2 other Miatas for me in person. Like he said, we kind of got catfished with those. The pictures were very misleading to how the actual condition of the car was. And when you're buying a car in like the 10K range, I feel like that's not uncommon to show up and it's a lot worse shape than you anticipate. So enough about the car buying process. Let's talk about what it is.
Yes. So again, '06 winning blue. That's the only year of this color. It's a beautiful color. You've considered other colors, but
I really, really like colors from the NC1 specifically. Like, I love winning blue. I love sunlight silver. I love Highland green. Those are all like NC1 colors. I feel like there's a really sweet spot in NC1 colors. I don't like NC2 colors as much. Comp yellow is the only kind of front runner for me in the color side of things. And I did actually look at a couple NC2s in our video where we talked about which NC should I buy. You could probably tell from that video I was leaning more towards an NC1. And I actually talked about some things that I wanted that I didn't actually get. I'll hit on that in a separate video, but this is an NC1, no appearance package, but it is in winning blue. It's a touring, which is an interesting thing because the touring kind of changed meaning in like '07. Because in '06, you could equip a sport with an LSD and a 6-speed.
yeah.
And in '06, the touring was like no LSD even possible. It was kind of the lowest trim available.
Yeah, weirdly the touring's like the base in the '06 specifically, which is
So
kind of
because of that, yeah, no 6-speed and no LSD,
Yep.
which is
So that's a very interesting about this car, I think, and kind of exciting. This car is, we both have NCs now. We are both NC owners. By the way, mine is out in Grand Junction getting the turbo installed right now, and things have been uncovered. Not related to the turbo. It's just
should do a whole video on that too.
I gotta do a whole video on the rust issues I'm dealing with because I didn't know exactly what to look for when I was buying a car sight unseen. We've applied those practices to Austin. Not a concern here. This car is literally so clean, basically rust-free, about as rust-free as you can get in Colorado. But I'm so glad we found this one. And it's very interesting because it's very different than mine. We are both NC owners, like I said, but 5-speed versus 6-speed. LSD versus no LSD, soft top versus hard top, NC1 versus NC2. Need I go on? Cloth versus leather, premium Bose in mine versus bass sound system in his. Everything is
like
different.
it's as different as you can get, I think, while still being an NC, which is exciting. And for me, I wanted like Jordan said at the beginning of the video, kind of a blank canvas, because I don't want to call this a project car, because it is in such nice shape that I think it's offensive to call this a project car. I'm going to call it my fun car.
Yeah.
Because as it is now, it's very fun. I can already attest to that just on the drive home from Colorado Springs. I enjoyed it. But yeah, it is, like Jordan said, about as different as you can get to his car. So if you're an NC1 owner and you've been following the channel and you've found it hard to relate to Jordan because he's already got all the NC2 goodies, stay tuned for what's in store for this.
Right. So speaking of, let's start with condition really quick because that's easy to assess. It is clean, better condition than mine, I think. Even though this is 75,000 miles, which is, I'd say, pretty low for 2006.
Very low,
This
yeah.
is almost 20 years old.
Staggering.
Mine had 28,000 miles when I bought it, and it had way worse rust than this.
This rust, it was pretty good condition, like paint and everything, and the interior was great condition.
Yeah. Mine was fine, but it's like I just didn't really know what to look for, and I was trusting a dealer who was just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. They sent me some photos, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's low rust," but like they're in Ohio, so Ohio's version of low rust is different than
like Colorado or the South for sure.
This is a Colorado, basically car its entire life.
It was 2 owners, both in Colorado Springs. So, and it's, as you can tell, been garaged his whole life. The first owner was a Miata addict. Apparently, he had 2 other Miatas when he owned this one.
Besides this one, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely well maintained and well cared for. And then it's had some interesting mods done to it. We can get into those here in a second.
But yeah, condition wise, it does need the headlights to be restored a bit, and that's, I think, a fun video to do because I've never actually done a video on that. I showed one of my friends out here who's done mine multiple times. I just keep paying him to do it, but I think it would be really interesting to do it yourself and on your other cars.
I think 3 cars now that need headlights restored
all
pretty
your cars
badly.
Need headlights restored. Obviously, a couple rock chips here and there, but like overall, for sure, cleaner front end than my car. Windshield's in great shape. Really
It
nice.
has some pitting, I noticed, but no cracks or like chips, which is not characteristic of Colorado.
The mirrors are, well, we'll get into mods in a second, but the interior is so clean. It does have the piano black dash, which is interesting. I forgot.
Cloth seats are in beautiful shape.
Yeah, definitely some wear on the bolster on that side, but otherwise, cloth will be an interesting thing to live with.
Steering wheel is in wonderful shape. That's some really beat up steering wheels I've seen on my search.
Well, yeah, and on my search for you.
Yeah.
The soft top, we could actually put this not fully up, but let's just, oops, wrong one. I don't know how to work a soft top.
Not a soft top guy over here.
We have, this was repaired previously, almost similar to how Manny's repaired his soft top on the channel before. There are a couple holes that could use patches.
Some patches, but
same thing on both sides.
The top is in great shape. It just needs a couple little patches, and that's just where it creases when you fold it. So I'm not really shocked it's needing it in that area. And then, yeah, I mean, the rear of the car, it's just so funny to me how different this is from an NC2 as far as like tail lights and like, yeah, it's just.
So the only other thing with condition, I mean, there's a little bit of chips on the bottom, rocker panels, that's very normal. But the passenger side wheels are both curb rashed a bit. And the calipers are chipping away. But that's where we can perfectly lead into the modifications.
Mods, yeah. So not an extensive amount of mods done, but some tasteful ones. I mean, the most notable, I think, is the Enki wheels with Michelin PS4s on there. So very excited. It doesn't have the stock wheels. I really like the way these look. There's a few other wheels I've been eyeing that I think I might swap on here at some point. But for right now, I'm super happy with them. And I think the kind of the gunmetal matches the blue, or matches, plays off the blue really nicely.
Yeah.
On the side, there is also kind of the MX-5 graphic on here.
Very, very much like the club of later, NC3 trims.
And I don't mind it. I might keep it on. I might take it off. And then also, of course, like Jordan said, mirrors are Plastidip black. Kind of a cool look. I'll probably take it off because I love the blue so much.
Yeah, and the Plastidip's like coming off a little bit, so it's like they're not probably as good as they were when it was freshly done. But you're right, the winning blue is a gorgeous color. The calipers were at one point matching, but they're really
they're starting to flake off a little bit, so I'll probably repaint those next time I do brakes on this.
Speaking of brakes, though, it does have slotted and drilled rotors. I guess
stainless lines too.
Stainless steel
we haven't
lines.
verified, but that was mentioned. And then I guess not much else up front. It's got a K&N drop-in filter.
Yeah.
And then some flying Miata hood struts, which is nice. And then around the back, a little bit more going on. Some Racing Beat goodies. We have a Racing Beat axle back exhaust. It actually has a really nice tone to it. And then it's got a Racing Beat rear sway as well. So can't complain about Racing Beat goodies. They make nice stuff. And then on the interior,
Well, it's been debadged.
It has been debadged.
Now it has a Roadster badge, which is kind of interesting.
kind of fun, yeah.
Yeah, stubby antenna.
Stubby
That's
antenna.
fresh. And then that's pretty much it. It does have, I guess this was option from the dealer, I think. That was a rare option. Well, I don't know how rare, but
I don't know how much I like the chrome, but apparently they're worth their weight in gold.
so sell that.
And then on the interior, there's not a lot. I like the floor mats, actually. They're kind of fun. I don't know, they just look, I don't know, like
They're
the
interesting.
early thousands to me.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
And then it has an Alpine head unit in there, which is super nice, CarPlay already, and a shift knob, and maybe these boots. I don't think they had blue stitching from the factory.
Yep.
So very minimal stuff on the interior, but it's really nice, like quality of life improvements.
Like you said, a perfect canvas on which to start.
Oh, and then the last thing we didn't mention, it has Kona yellows.
Right.
So
it has the shocks, but not really springs. So that's why everyone's already in the comments saying, look at that
Wheel
ride
gap.
height. Specifically, Time and our friend says, got to get rid of that wheel gap. So that's something you could be done at some point. But yeah, it's cool that this is not bone stock. I mean, I guess I should ask you, you know, between bone stock and heavily modified, you did look at a few of that whole spectrum.
Yeah, I looked at some much more modified ones, and I looked at some ones that had literally absolutely nothing done to them. And I think, I don't know, the price point for a heavily modified one and a bone stock one varied based on like condition and miles, and then of course the mods that were done. But I think the reason why I didn't get something that was heavily modified is I have some very specific mods in mind that I'd like to do, and I didn't want to unmodify something just to remodify it, I guess. So I opted for something that was a lot more lightly modified than I probably would have. I don't know. I know Jordan's made a lot of comments about if he were to buy another one, he'd buy one that was already pretty modded just to save money. But for me, it's part of the process of enjoying and building the car is adding your own flavor to it. So
yeah, you wanted the canvas, and I think this is the perfect one to start with. So you've also been looking for various trims. You know, there's a lot of trims, and we did kind of an NC like deep dive, like
we did,
like figuring out which ones was the right one. And yeah, Touring 06, I'd say pretty base model. You've got a rotating key as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. Like I have keyless ignition, you have an actual
I have real keys.
Real key.
Which I like. It's one of the things I wanted.
Actually, yeah. So we were looking for very different things, and so that's why I think this definitely has a place on this channel. Obviously, we want different things. We would do different builds. We have basically the most different NCs possible, especially pretty soon here. So it'll be fun to see what all you do with yours, which I guess leads us into the next point of upcoming videos in the near future with this thing.
Yeah, so while Jordan's car is having a spa day, I will be trying to fill in with content, and like I said, I'll do a whole video on what my plans are for this car. We talked about what's done to it now. Just because it has some mods done to it doesn't mean there aren't things I have plans in store in the works. So I'll be doing that video, and then I'm also going to do a video on the things I learned while NC Miata shopping, because I did learn a tremendous amount even after we did our kind of sub-generational discussion on which car was best for me. And obviously I ended up with an NC1, and there's a pretty good reason why, and I can dive into that a lot more. And for those of you that are maybe NC shopping with a similar budget to mine, or just curious as to more of like the little things you should look out for when you're car shopping, I plan on hitting on a lot of that. So those are the videos that are immediately in store. And of course there's going to be a ton more to come. So
right, this is going to be super fun. Road trips, I mean modifications, you're not going to like necessarily double dip on things I've already done. We're not trying to do the exact same video twice, but you'll do some mods. I mean, we'll get to that in the mod planning video, like all your plans, but some you can just throw it on there. Some you'll actually film because they're unique to your car and different from my car.
Yeah.
And like I said, yeah, you're just going a different direction, and it'll just be great to have a different NC on the channel as well. We've accidentally gone this like red, white, and blue theme. We got Manny with his red one, Austin, of course, with the blue one now. which we do need to name. So if you have a name,
Drop a comment.
idea, name and custom license plate ideas, drop comments. Arkansas gets 7
We
characters.
get
from
7
license plate,
characters.
which is pretty cool. So most creative names and license plates. Maybe we'll have some
like pin
reward,
or, I don't know.
We'll pin you
Send
or
you a hat.
yeah. But I think it'll be great because my car is at the doctor, for lack of a better term. Yeah, Flying Miata is doing the turbo install right now. They're developing their installation videos on that, which is super exciting. I mentioned that before. I'm really excited about that. The turbo install is going fine. It's just I have some rust issues with alignment bolts. I need an alignment. New tires are happening as well.
Like everything but the turbo is
Everything but the turbo's gone wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't have my car for a while, so it'll be great to see Austin's car, some of his upcoming content. If you have ideas as well, definitely drop them below. Like, what would you like to see? What ideas do you have for him that he will probably just ignore?
I got my own plans, but I'm open to hear what y'all want to see too.
Right.
And if you do want to see very specific videos on something maybe Jordan did to his car and didn't cover at the depth you wanted, let us know. But I feel like you've gone really in depth with like everything. So
There's also things I filmed like 4 or 5 years ago
Yeah.
before I knew what I was doing. So
maybe you want a higher quality.
Austin can always redo it, but better. So yeah, more to come with obviously all of his cars. We've got Roads Optional, other channel over there with his off-road GX and my Jeep, which is the Jeep's like my daily right now because my Miata's gone. So yeah, but he's about to head back to Arkansas, which is 11 hours that way. Should be a really awesome road trip.
I mean, as awesome as Kansas can be, yeah.
And yeah, conveniently found a car near me. You were looking to nationwide.
I was
And-
looking all over the country
Turns out we just found it from a neighbor.
on your
Frank.
doorstep.
Glad we found it from Frank before he moved to Florida. That would have been a bit harder.
Yeah, that would have been much more difficult.
But yeah, big shout out to Frank for just taking such good care of this car.
Yeah,
And-
being an absolute pleasure to work with as a buyer. It's not something I experienced during the whole buying process.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So, well, thanks everyone for watching. That's pretty much it. You got to get on the road here pretty soon.
yeah.
And this is the lovely new contender and family member on the channel.